Just an update on the water slide decals for the inside of the cockpit. I've done 3 coats of the Walthers, and it's just not sitting in there the way I would like it to. Basically I don't like it. So you look at that, and then you look at this piece, which there are decals for all the pieces in the cockpit. The detail just looks better like this, so I'm going to dip these 2 side panels in some purple stuff, remove everything, and redo them. I'm going to try to paint it myself. So here we go. I finished hand painting the insides of the cockpit. I based some of it off of some screen captures that I have from the movie, and some of it obviously I just made up because the interior is not completely canon to what was on the movie anyway. I'm going to do a little quick test fit here to show you what the cockpit looks like put together. The seats attach to the actual base of the whole ship, so you're going to have to paint the inside here black because this is the floor of the cockpit. The top piece, as you can see, these pieces all clip in right here. Let me get something to point with here. They clip in here, so your side pieces go in with these pieces helping to hold it in, and then your small display screen here fits onto this bigger piece and slides in. I didn't slide it down all the way because it's kind of hard to get them back out. And then the front navigation display slides in there. So you have to put the seat in first before you can put the top on with the cockpit, so it fits together like that. Then you put in the pilots, put Dax in, and put Luke in. Like so. So once everything gets painted, whether you choose to hand paint the cockpit or if you use the decals, it actually looks really, really good. The detail is really cool. And then once I get some lights in here, I'm hoping it's going to look even more awesome. I've been painting the pieces after I did most of the sub-assemblies, like the bigger section here for the wing, and then the smaller front section for the wing. And I'm trying something different. My last video, I believe I was trying some GarageKits.us airbrush paints, and I also got this clear surface prep, which is a clear surface primer, and I used that, and then I painted my color, which I didn't write down my color, but essentially what I did was I took my ATST color that was left over and added a bunch of white to it, and then added some Windex to it to thin it down. But you can see this is a piece of the plastic from the kit. This is the color of the plastic, and this is the color of the piece. This piece, this light gray, is cooler, and the plastic is actually a warmer color. What I'm doing now is going through with my 0.03 millimeter mechanical pencil lead and I'm drawing in all the panel lines. You can see here and here is where I've done it, and on this side I haven't done it yet. It gives it the accent for the panel lines. And once I get done with all the pieces, I'll put a satin varnish on top. So then I can put the pieces together, and then once everything's together, I can start doing the weathering. Okay, I've sealed all the pieces. When I did the gray parts, I first coated them with Model Air light gray, and then I went in and did the edges and some in here, did the edges just spraying this way and this way. Same here, just going in on the little parts where the details are, and I did that with the Model Air medium sea gray, which obviously is a little bit darker. And then I sealed everything with Vallejo's satin varnish. This I mix about 2/3 varnish with 1/3 Windex, so it flows through the airbrush a lot easier. So now I'm ready to go through and start putting some washes on the pieces. But you can see how the pencil lines really helped accent the panel lines. So it's coming along really well. I've masked off the top of the ship. This is inside where the cockpit goes. I just want to spray it black and make sure that there's no light plastic peeking through anywhere. And I've also masked off my square here, so the bottom of the cockpit will also be black. And I've masked off the little tubs where the mechanics are for the air flaps that come up to help steer it. And I've also masked off the inside of the cockpit so I can spray that black also. So I finished spraying the inside bottom of the cockpit here. I just put the two pieces together to make sure I got everything pretty well covered. There's a couple of spaces I need to go. But this part here is all underneath the seat. There's not a whole lot of the floor showing, and then these side panels will be covered by all the cockpit interior. And I also sprayed the underneath of the flaps, so when they get in there, let's see if I can get this closer. So when they get in there, they'll look pretty good. Of course, now I have a lot of dry brushing and everything to do on the inside to bring out all the highlights of the little pieces inside. And I also sprayed the inside of the cockpit. And this little mesh piece in here, I'm going to paint that same green that I painted on the mesh pieces on the side walls of the cockpit. Looks like I did have a couple of spaces where the paint peeled off, so I'm probably going to go back and respray some of these top pieces with the light color, just to make sure it's all covered. But the colors I used to spray these dark is, first I sprayed it with the Model Air black gray, which is very similar to the NATO black, it's just a little deeper. And then I did some spot colors with the Model Air dark gray blue to kind of give it more of a cool look to it. I've done the interior tubs where the flaps go, and what I did was I first dry brushed Vallejo's Model Air medium sea gray, and I did that liberally, and then I went in very lightly with Vallejo's Model Air light gray, and then I took the Model Air chrome and dry brushed even lighter on top of that. Then I went in with a toothpick and did a couple little red dots, and I think I did a gold one in there also, just to put some color in there and give it some pop. And then once that was done, I went in with the Vallejo black wash, which toned everything down. I also used that same wash to wash these pieces separately. I put a wash on this entire piece here, this little middle section, and then I did a wash just on the top part of this, and I also did a wash just on this top ring and everything of the engines back here, which I'll still go back in on the engines and get some black inside and still do some more detail to make it look a little more soot, engine soot, or whatever you want to call it. But by doing these separate, what it does is it gives you nice crisp lines, because you don't have to try to do the lines. So when you put the pieces together, let me zoom in a little here. You have really nice crisp line work without having to mask or tape off or anything. See if I can get this little bad boy in here. There. Comes out looking pretty sharp. I also put a wash on the inside grills here. And I also did a wash on this little square back here. There is a decal for that, which I didn't realize, but I went ahead and did it in that gray, so when I have to put the decal on of the little red stripe and everything, I'm just going to cut out that little red stripe and stick it in there, because I kind of like the way this gray wash looks better than the decals. Starting to put some decals on these here. I don't like these decals. These decals are dot printed. They're not silk screen, they're screen printed. So you get real close, you can see the dot pattern on them. And I'm not liking them. So I'm gonna leave these on, but the rest I'm gonna mask off and airbrush the rest of the colors, which is gonna take me a while. So let me do that, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've been spraying the gray. I took the decals off that I put on here and masked this off and sprayed using the Model Air medium sea gray. and I masked off the flaps in the front of the canopy here. The other pieces here, 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 and here, and here, these are all separate pieces, so you can spray them separately and then insert them, so you don't have to mask them. You get a nice clean line. Also on the front here, I did 2 panels with the Model Air light gray, and then these 2 panels at the top here towards the canopy, I used that same color and mixed in about 5 drops of this model color ivory. Now I know these pieces have some red outline, which I'm probably going to take from the decals, and then I do need to put the writing and stuff, all the red stuff on here, and then seal everything. So I'm going to do that. This is going to do it for part 2. Part 3 is going to deal with the lighting, putting in the fiber optics, and then connecting everything and putting it all in the ship, running the wires through the post to the stand. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for subscribing, and I will see you guys for part 3.